Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Horticulture, and I'm Ronald Damp. Like I said, we are back at the Palm Desert Living Desert Zoo and Gardens Revisited. They're supposed to be having a guest speaker here, a couple biologists, doing a reptile presentation for an hour on the Coachella desert fringe-toed lizards and the Namibian plated lizards from Africa and the similarities between the two. So we're gonna go check that out and maybe capture a few other things that we didn't see last time. So I'll see you inside. But before we do that, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you're enjoying what you're seeing here, and hit that bell so you know when I upload videos. That's every Friday. All right guys, see you inside. Hello, how are you?
Pretty good.
Two tickets, two adults please.
Two adults? Okay, so that'll be $40.
Okay.
How are you guys doing today?
Awesome. And look at the difference of coloration on these. I've found quite a few of these field herping myself, the Southern Pacifics, and most of them I found have been like this one here, with a lot of background contrast to it. But some of them are really jet black, like this one right here. This bull snake is probably a good 6 foot long. He is really big. And of course my favorite, southwestern speckled rattlesnake.
Namibia has a special place in my heart, and I know that there's some really good connections between the Living Desert and various projects in Namibia. And there's a really neat connection that we have between some of the study animals that we've worked with in Namibia and some species that are right here in Coachella Valley. I'm from the Philip L. Boyd Deep Canyon Desert Research Center, which is a large mouthful. I usually just call it Deep Canyon because that's a much smaller mouthful. Our origins are interesting. They come from a couple of things. So just reading from this, the Deep Canyon Desert Research Center had its beginnings back in 1958, where I need to refer to my notes to get all the dates right on this. Back in 1980, the Coachella Valley fringe-toed lizard was listed as an endangered species under the Endangered Species Act. And a couple of really self-explanatory. No, okay. So this isn't the species that I really want to talk about today. I just want to illustrate that. They are basically a standard desert lizard. they do things pretty much the way all of the other desert lizards do it, except for these couple of weird morphological adaptations that they have that let them be specialists on sand dunes. And those are a couple of things that are fairly obvious. So one is they have these it's really hard to say, the shovel-shaped snout. It sounds like it would be easy, but it's not. It's easy to say that. They have this shovel-shaped snout that lets them swim through the sand. You'll also notice that the lower jaw is countersunk underneath the upper jaw. And that's to allow them, when they're swimming through the sand, it avoids their mouth filling up with sand as they're moving through that. They also have these really spectacular, fabulous eyelashes. They're long scales over their eyes to protect their eyes from blowing sand. And then the other thing they have is their namesake. They have these, hopefully you can see this, they have these expanded scales on their toes, the fringes on their toes, that increase the surface area on their toes so that they can run across sand, act like snowshoes. And so that makes them really good at running across sand. I don't know if this is actually how it happened, but I can imagine Mark and Al sitting around one day with a beer, sort of scratching their head, realizing there was a whole lot of sand in there because they've been standing out in the sand dunes, and going, hey, we should go to Namibia to look at some of these lizards and see if they're doing things the same way as our Coachella Valley fringe-toed lizards. It's Moroli zanchiidae. They're a whole lot like our Coachella Valley fringe-toed lizards, except that they're much smaller. This is a big adult male these are about the same size as a hatchling Coachella Valley fringe-toed lizard, so they're quite a bit smaller. But otherwise, they're pretty similar. So they have these shovel-shaped snouts. They have the countersunk jaws, like I was just telling you about. They have ear openings that are covered over by scales to protect the ears, and they have fringes on their toes. Just like our Coachella Valley fringe-toed lizards. They're really very convergent in what they do. They're totally unrelated to each other. They're in different families on very different parts of a phylogenetic tree, but they live in similar conditions and they have similar adaptations to those. So these guys are interesting. We actually knew something about their metabolic rates already. The same collaborator that helped us measure the field metabolic rate in the shovel snout. The males have these really dark heads, and the older they get, the more that they turn dark. They also have dark patches underneath the belly that they use to signal to the females. If you get down to lizard height, you can see that they can actually see all of this dark coloration underneath them. And again, these things are classic sand dune specialist lizards. So you can compare them to our Coachella Valley fringe-toed lizard or the shovel-snouted lizard. They all have these same sets of adaptations. They got the shovel-shaped snout. They got the countersunk jaw that keeps the sand out from their mouth. They have ears that are covered over. These guys have these really cool big scaly flaps that cover over their ears. That are kind of cool. These guys, partly because they're big, when they swim through the sand, they don't use their legs to tread water through there. They actually tuck their legs underneath, so there's this groove that the legs tuck into so that they get nice and streamlined. They shed their scales constantly because it's so abrasive and all that. They're really cool lizards. And they also have fancy toes. So where you have fringes on the toes of these guys don't really have fringes, but they have big expanded scales to act like a big platform for running across the sand. But they're all kind of fairly similarly adapted to these habitats.
Okay, that's the end of the speech there, the class on the Nambia plated lizards and the fringe-toed lizards here in Coachella. Interesting, a lot of data, a lot of information. I didn't film the whole thing. I just filmed portions of it, just kind of give you guys an idea what I was looking at. It was a slideshow, and a biologist that was given his detailed information on their trip over there in Africa on these plated lizards. Really, really interesting, really cool hour-long ordeal, hour-long informative class. And so we're gonna go walk around a little bit more here and just enjoy the day. Alright everyone, that's about it. I'm just finishing just kind of enjoying the day here. Walking around, it's peaceful, not too crowded. It's just nice outside right now, nice and warm. Just finishing up the tour here. That's about it. There's a lot more to see here, but I'm done. I'm going home, I'm hungry. And so anyways, thanks for coming along guys on this second part to the zoo tour here in Palm Desert. And thank you everyone for subscribing to my channel. I appreciate the support. And until next time, remember guys, make today count and have fun doing it. See you next time. Later.